All right, I am Jacqui Duran. I am a Scentsy Star Director working on Superstar Director, but today I'm going to be sharing with you how I utilize Trello in my business. I have used many different programs over the years of being a consultant and really getting my groove into how it is working best for me to track my business. Now, Trello is a program that is specifically set up as a CRM, so a customer retention management type of a service. So, this is not something that is just used by Scentsy consultants. So, if you are looking for trainings, if you're looking for additional resources, you can definitely find many different tutorials if this is not something that's going to work for you. But this is going to really just showcase how I have transitioned my follow up, how I have transitioned my planning, how I've transitioned my training, tracking, trending, things like that. So, we're not going to do a fully in depth today, but what I am going to do is I'm going to show you just how I've set up and what I use throughout my week and how I use that. And then we'll be having another video coming up fairly soon, and we will dig into a little bit more of like an upgraded step of some of the automations and different ways that Trello can be used throughout your business. First off, I do want to say this is not sponsored by Trello. I am taking applications though. However, Trello is, you can have a free version of Trello. And I want to say within the past, oh, maybe it was a year ago, maybe a little over a year ago, Trello completely redesigned exactly their platforms on the free version compared to the different the different tiers that you can actually work up to. I do have a version of Trello that is a paid version, so I am on one of the paid tiers. However, as you're just getting started, if this is something you want to give it a try, see if it's going to work for you, then most certainly you can do pretty much everything that you'd like to try and work on with the free version. You do not need to immediately start out with that paid version. So, as I say, with all of the other programs, apps, things like that that we utilize for our business and for really tracking and trending, I want to encourage you rather to really just look for ways that are going to work for you and not to just jump in on a paid version, no matter what that is. If there's a paid or if there's a free version, if there's a free trial, I encourage you to utilize all of that time that you have to figure out if it's something that's going to work for you. This has been a lesson that I've learned in my business where I just immediately would see other people using something. And so then I would just jump in thinking I needed to get the paid version to do all the things. And I quickly found out that it was not true. So let's go ahead and I'm just going to show you here on my workspace. This is my Trello workspace. Um, I have this and I can complete or I can actually create as many boards as I want to. So my boards are all here. And the way that I like to describe this is think of each of these as maybe like a drawer in your cabinet, okay, or in your desk drawer, right? This is going to hold different things. So that's what the boards are. The boards are just a place to hold things that go together, right? Um, you can add members. You, again, can go into settings. You can go into billing, all of those different things. But we're just going to stick with the basic here. So you can also see it along here on the left-hand side of my screen. I can very quickly go to any of my boards. I do have some of them favorited. Those are the ones that I really work on the most frequently. And then I have some that maybe I'm not touching on a weekly basis, but at least once a month. So the main one that I use, and it's my name. So this is where I hold my business. All right, so I want to show you guys. In fact, let me go to, before we jump into this, because this one's going to be a little bit different. So this one is a little bit cleaner. You can see this is one that I am actually creating for my direct team. So only those on my team will have access to this board. And I wanted to start this one off because it's again, it's cleaner, it's a little bit easier to see without everything in there. So in this board, remember, if you picture the drawers in your desk or in your file cabinet, right? This is a drawer per se that I have opened. And in this drawer, this is how I've organized all of the things. So hashtag Scent365, that is the name of my team. So that's why it's named that. Um, and in this is going to contain, like I said, this is going to be a resource that I'm going to open up to my team members. So, of course, I'm going to give them some different ways on how to use this board. I want to give them some quick tutorials. Um, this is going to be a place for my new consultants as they're joining, and my downline as they have new people joining. They can direct them into this line or this card to be able to come into and really start. I'm going to have a space for FAQs, those frequently asked questions. I want to have a space where they will have tips and ways and a little bit more deep dive on PRV and sales. Same thing with sponsoring / recruiting. I really don't like the word recruiting, but I use it because I know that's what a lot of people refer to it as. And then I have my pods, and that's just something that I've taken and that I've worked with over the years. And a training pod is basically that. So this is where I will come in. I can link in all of the different training resources for new consultants, for consultants who have been with me for some time, consultants who have newly promoted, this and that, right? So all of those resources will eventually be in this card. Of course, when we have regular meetings, which we do, but for them, it will all be set up here with direct links into the meetings. And this will be another place where they can, of course, look for breaking news. Now, you may be asking yourself, well, why are you doing all of this? Because if you've got a Facebook group page or a team page, you could do all of this in there. Why are you doing this here? Here's the thing. I am looking to move or have another space that is not connected to Facebook for my business. And in order to do that, I need to have every aspect of my business listed out, because you guys have been around and noticed that there have been occasions where Facebook has gone down, or for whatever reason, someone gets put in the infamous Facebook jail, or maybe they just are not on Facebook. I can't even, I know a lot of us utilize Facebook, but there is a good number of people, and I do have a handful of team members, at least a good, I want to say 20 team members that are not even on Facebook. They don't even have a profile on Facebook. And that's simply because, for whatever reason, they've decided not to use it, or um, they just don't feel comfortable there, or they don't have access to it, whatever it is. I needed a place to be able to really have everything off of Facebook, because here's the thing, everything you put on Facebook, Facebook technically has access to or owns, right? If Facebook decides one day that they need to take down the platform for a week in order to recalibrate the servers or to reorganize or to come up with new ways to do different things, and they just need time to do that, I have to look at the design to say, okay, what would I do if this were to happen? What would I do if, for whatever reason, I would get put in the infamous Facebook jail? Where would all of my content for my team be? Would it be in a Facebook team page or a group page? Probably. So I needed a way to get off of Facebook and to offer my team members, my group members, the people that I work with and network with, a different way that is not on Facebook. Another thing that I will throw in here, just as a personal tidbit, is the fact that you'll notice that I have I have all of my bookmarks set up here, and you'll see how I have my Facebook labeled, and it's simply because I know that I personally can get stuck in the scroll, and it can be a complete time suck and will take away from the time that I'm trying to work on my business. And here's the thing, you guys, if you are finding that you're not being as productive as you want to be, it's probably because maybe you went to a Facebook group and started looking for something, and then, oh my gosh, look at what this person posted, and now they posted a link to this, and oh, now look, there's a link for this YouTube video, and all of a sudden you've gone down this entire path of somewhere you didn't really intend to be, and you've gotten off your path and you need to go back and start over again. I like to call that my squirrel moment, right? So I have the same issue with Pinterest, so I have that as a different a different way to look at it, right? Um, I really try and be intentional when I'm working my business. So there will be a lot of times where I won't even have Facebook open if I'm in here working and I don't want to be disturbed and I don't want to get off track. I don't want to forget what I'm working on. I really just want to be intentional with the 30 minutes that I have for whatever project it is. So, again, this is just a way to keep that from happening for me. So, in this, and we're going to go ahead and I'm going to show you how to create a card and how to actually create a list. Okay. So as you can see, it's basically a linear scope instead of vertical, okay? So we go horizontal along here. You'll see as I'm sliding back and forth. This can continue on and on and on and on. It gives me unlimited space to be able to add lists on here. So maybe I want to create a list that is, let's say this is for building leaders. Maybe I have a group that I want to work with where I'm building leaders. Now, you might wonder how I got this, to look a little pretty. Okay, here's the thing, you guys. All it is just a picture. It's really any card that you create, you can see this is set as the cover card. And I just do that because for me, again, I'm a visual person. And when things are visually appealing to me, I am going to spend more time there. So, how do I get those things? Okay, well, I actually will, you can create them on Canva. If you have Canva, you can create them in a different program. You can see I've got one here and I'm just going to use this as an example. Just it's in here on my recent downloads. So maybe this, and obviously I know it does not match this board, so don't worry, I will be changing it. But all right, so I'm going to take this, I'm just going to click and drag, and I'm just going to drop it in there. You'll see it'll take it a second, and that's how I actually create that. So it's just an image, and so I've made that outside of Trello. I actually use GoDaddy Studios, which is formerly known as Over, and I create a lot of my graphics that way, and that's how I created these. And you'll see these. This is a reoccurring theme as we go through my other boards, but so that's how I get that. So if that's how you're wondering how those appear, that's what you can do. So you can change that up as you wish. Now, again, the background, you can see each, and you'll see as we go through my boards, each are unique. When you are on a particular board, if you come over here to the menu, the three dots, that's where it's going to open up a lot more. Now you can see here right now about this board, I can add a description. Currently, I don't need a description. I haven't presented this yet to my team members, but when I do, before I do that, of course, I will have a description here just so they can orient a little to understand what this is for. This is where you can change the background. Now, of course, you can bring in custom photos. You see I've got a couple in here. You can just do straight colors. You can do photos. And I will tell you that their library of photos is deep. They, anything that you want to look up, maybe the theme or your branding to your business or something that you love. Let's say it is, let's say it's cats. I'm going to use my director as a prime example here. And you can see, look, it's going to bring me up just a bunch of different images with cats included. She actually would really love to do this on her page, I'm sure, if she gets into Trello. But you see, this just goes on and on and on and on and on. So you can really look for whatever it is that you're looking for and change that background, make it personal, make it you. You can create custom fields. You can add stickers. So, okay, there's some stickers here. You can search the world of Jiffy there. I'm going to see just because I don't think I've looked it up. There we go. So when I type in Scentsy, you can see there's already some Scentsy stickers that Scentsy, because different companies, different people will actually be able to publish to Jiffy. Okay, that is an actual program or housing. Okay, so let's say I want to take this sticker, I want to put that on my breaking news, and so you can see that sticker is just, it's going to live there now. Maybe I want to come over here to the training pod and I want to put a sticker on there that says join my team, and you can see that sticker will remain there. Actually, let's, oops. No, I can't grab it again. Oh well. All right, so there's the stickers. So you can again search the entire library for stickers. If you click on the three dots for more again, okay, you can see I can upgrade to the next tier. Okay, I can make templates, but that's going to require an update or an upgrade, I mean. But I can change settings, I can change everything here. You can allow, oh, in fact, let me just touch on that there. This is where you can add members to join your board, okay? So you can give different people permissions on board. So if you wanted to keep something absolutely private, even though, like, for example, on this is something I will be sharing out with my team members. I want them to be able to have all the access to everything that I'm doing here, but perhaps I don't want them to know, for maybe my happy mail, because I don't want them to, see what I've got cooking for team mail or recognition mail, right? That's something that I want to keep separate. So you can make sure that you're closing down different workspaces. So each one of these is my board that's there. This means that the workspace is visible. So anyone, as you can see, all members of my workspace can see and edit this board. So anybody that has access to this is going to be able to do things. I can watch this, I can copy this, I can print and export. I can link directly to this, QR code, the whole nine yards. Automations, again, we're going to leave that and we're going to leave power-ups for later, but I am just going to show you very quickly that if for whatever reason you need to go back, you need to do something, you need to see what happens, specifically if you're adding people, you will be able to see all the activity that has happened on this board. So if you wanted to go back through and see, wait a minute, who did this? If you have other people doing this, who did this? And I can see, like, here on May 2nd, that's when I created the start here to this board, right? So I can always go through and see the history about that board. Now I can filter, automation. Again, those are going to be things we're going to save for our next encounter. So I can continue to build lists. Now, once you have your lists, you want to add in a card. So a card, we want a title for this card. So how to use this board, one of the things would be, I'm just going to say start here. It's normally what I do on one of those. And within this card, so then I can open the card. This is the card. Now, of course, I can add members. I can create labels. So you'll see that in other ones that I have, and you'll be able to create custom labels. So at a glance, you can see things. I can create a checklist in here, and maybe I can do new consultant to-dos. Add that. And then I can start adding my checklist items to be checked off. So maybe it would be the first things first checklist on the workstation. Then maybe it would be watch, watch new consultant orientation video. I know I spelled that wrong. And we can just go back, fix that. There we go. All right. Then maybe next I want them to update workstation with picture and story bio. Okay. And so now you can see I've got a checklist in here. As they're working through this, they can come in or I can come in and go, okay, they've done that. I'm going to check that off. I love how it gives me that. Okay. So you can see as things are completed, okay, you can see that's how it looks, right? So now I can just easily see, and you can see it in the background here, that this has been completed. So I'm going to uncheck those. Those are not yet completed. I can select in dates if I need reminders, if I'm watching this card for whatever reason. If I need to add an attachment, I can pull forward from my computer, my Trello, my Google Drive box. I can add the link from that. I can just drag and drop in all of that. The cover, again, remember that's how we found our cover before, but you don't have to have, like I have mine with actual like word titles. So you don't have to do that. Again, here's where you can upload just an image yourself that you've taken or that you've got on your computer, your device. I can search for photos again. Remember, that's a huge library, all the things. I can make this very customizable. And I can customize the fields in here. Now, maybe I want to move this to a different board. So when I click that, I can click it from here. I can move it around wherever I want to. I can copy this, make a template, archive it if I'm completely done with it. I can share it out. That's going to give me a link to share this card. So I can actually, or get a QR code that it will generate. Link anyone to this card by sending them this QR code, right? So all those different ways that I can get to that, and I can utilize this. Again, automations, power-ups, we will cover those later. So that is how we can create. And so what I like to do is every time, so I'm just going to put in here created checklist. And I can save it there. So I like to kind of use this as my personal notes section. So I can kind of go back and reference, what have I done? What am I aiming to do with this? What's next? So any activity is what I will put there, and I will show a little bit about that. So that's how it looks before you get started. Let's go back to my personal main business board. So this is my main business board. So these are the different things that I'm following in my business. So I do have a priority list. These are the things that I am currently, like, this is my to-do list, rather. Let's just put it that way. This is my to-do list. These are the things that I am needing to get done, or I want to get done, and I need to focus on. So you can see, let's open this card up. You can see that I've been working on the summer collection, making those samples. I've got some labels on here. I do call samples fluff because that's what it is. I created that cover photo, so that's the picture that you see there. That was just a picture I took, and I made it into a cover photo, or I added it in as an attachment to create a cover photo, just because, again, I am more visual. So these are the things that I still have left to do. All right. But remember how I was showing you on that other board, right? Where I kind of track myself. So the first thing I did, you can see my notes. I created 30 sets of felt samples. Then I printed out rack cards. I used regular paper. I didn't even use cardstock to mail in A4. Those are those long, like, bill envelopes. And usually I will try and put the date in whenever I'm doing anything. It's just a habit. And then yesterday, I completed all of those. They're ready for mailing. So that's when I came in and I created my to-do list. So now today I need to print my address labels. I need to print some extra return address labels because I'm almost out of those. I've only got one, like one column left of those. I need to print those. I do need to pick up some extra postage because I've only got about half a book of stamps left, and how I'm going to get these out. These are light enough to where I'm actually mailing these out. They're going to go with one stamp. So all I need to do is get some books, a couple book of stamps from the post office. And so that's my note to myself. And then, of course, I have my final check off, and that is officially mailed. They're going to be out the door. Okay. So that's how I've kind of kept track of what I'm doing. So these are all of the things that are in my task list on the dish soap samples. So back in April, I did a whole batch of 50 dish soap samples, and I used the compressed sponges that I received from Amazon. So you'll see that was the last time that I made up samples. That was back in March, or I'm sorry, in April. But I have it back on here again. Why? Because it's time to do some more dish soap samples. I'm out of dish soap samples, so it's time for me to make more. So that is why it's on my priority list now. Then I also have weekly tasks. These are things that I do in my business that are a consistent thing, right? So these are my atomic habits. These are the things that I'm doing. So I do a what I'm warming or what I'm using in Scentsy every week video. I do a Tuesday training. I do weekly wax pictures. I do shout outs for my team. Any work sessions, cover photos, Instagram reels. I like to batch a lot of things. My systems. All right, so systems, obviously we need to have systems in our business. So I've got some of my systems in here, some of the things that I want to work on. So I'm in the process of revamping my business page. So I'm calling it my 2.0. And then I've got my other systems there that I'm working on. I do have a list that I am following for retired products, right? So these are again more of the LTOs. It's just simply a way for me to keep track. And I'll show you, like, for example, let's click back on. I'm trying to think of an older one. Well, that was back in March, so that might be helpful. So one of the things that I like to track as a consultant, when we have an LTO, specifically a scent that comes out, um, when it comes out, we have it available for up to 30 days to be able to add it to a Scentsy Club. So what I usually will do is either I originally, and you can see this is back in February when I did that, but originally I was setting reminders for when that would go away. So that way that would give me a reminder that on March 16th, that was going to be like the final day that it would need to be added into a club order. And so that's why I want that there. So I can communicate that out to my customers, of course, so I know it if it's something I want. As I have kind of gotten a little bit better at doing this, um, I'm getting back into going back to do the release date. So now I can actually see the specific release date. It just works for me better. And add to Scentsy Club by 5/18. So I've really kind of put that out there just a little bit differently. But again, same concept. And you can see it's the bars that I'm following there. And that just happened to be the image that I used. Samples. So when I am doing my samples, so I like to keep these in here. So I not only have these for reference, but I can also come in here and I can see, how many I made, when did I do them? Let's look at another one here, cotton cleanups. You can see I've got the file for the actual sticker. So when I click on that, or actually no, it's just a picture. I should put the file in here for the sticker. And those are the stickers that I use. They're on 2-inch rounds. And that's how I put those in there. And I, of course, made my note to myself that I did an entire bag of cotton cleanups, and I use those in my club swag bags. So I would have samples for those. When I have new consultants join, so this is another piece that's a big part of my business, right? Is that sponsoring piece. So one of the things that I do is when someone joins or rejoins my group or my team, I'm sorry, then what I do is I give them the option. They kind of have the red pill or the blue pill, right? Do they want a fast pass? Do they want to get started and start working this as a business right away? Or are they wanting to do this at their own pace? So the fast pass is really, right, I'm here to make that money. So those are the people that I have identified as they're there, they're here to make money. And you can see, I don't want to click in there because I know it's going to have, I do keep their address and contact information so I can very easily If I want to send them a quick email, all I have to do is click on her card and I've got her email there. I've got her phone number there. So if I'm texting with her, what her preferred method of communication is. And then I always put down their 70-day date. So I know that on June 8th, that is her official 70th day. So that at a glance just lets me see that. New frontline as they come on. These are for the consultants who have either rejoined or joined and have decided that they're going to do this more at their own pace. Now, I do have also another one that is specifically for reinstatements. Reinstatements, I do treat a little bit differently, right? Because they do have the option to purchase a reinstatement kit, but I do recognize that not all consultants who reinstate, because they can reinstate for free, they do not always have the ability to do that. So I do send out a little, welcome back to Scentsy, little bit of fun mail to each of those. And you can see as I send those out, that's when I do, pictures in there. Again, it's just a visual thing. This is my frontline post 70 days. So this is after they've gotten out of either the fast pass or at their own pace. And now they are, just in my system, right? So now these are my team members that I'll be watching and I will be working with. This is my FOM system, or first of the month task. So you can see I have a system for pretty much everything that I'm doing in my business. So at the first of the month, these are the things that I do on a consistent basis. These are my habits, or my atomic habits. This is my monthly system. So I do batches of swag bags for my clubbers. I have a paid at title club where I do certain mail outs. I always batch my happy mail for customers, a clickable calendar, a leadership meeting, group mail, all of those things are in here. So again, those are the things that I'm doing on a monthly basis. Those are my systems. Here's my post pay system. So this is really after the 10th of the month, what do I do? So those are the things that I've got there. Middle of the month, end of month system. So what do I do at the end of every month? That's there. Then I have what I'm working on for the current month. And there's obviously some things I need to get in here and update. These aren't the only two things happening this month, but I have those here. Then I always have what's coming up next month. And in June, we do have Bring Back My Bar. So I am getting ready to really start deep diving into that. One of my favorite lists to have on here is my done. I love to be able to move something to the done list. I love that feeling of just having the satisfaction of knowing something is done. So this one is a lot longer, obviously. Not everything that I do is going to come to this, because if it's a part of a system, then it's something that's going to stay in that list. But when something is done, I can move it over. Then I have a watch list for my team. Those are just people that I'm watching for whatever reason. Maybe they're close to a promotion. Maybe they're up for cancellation. Those are the things that I'm watching. When I have action calls, I put that in there. Mentor calls is the same. Training content that I'm doing for my teams. I always have a kit list running for people who are looking to join my team. LTO, so limited time offers. So I have the watch in here. Those are the things that I'm watching for the limited time offers. So again, you can see some of those past ones. Collaborations. So when I'm doing collaborations and I'm working on different projects with things or with other people, I put that information in here. I am working on Superstar Director, and so I need to have things in here that are going to be programs setting me up for that, right? I also have my club mail tracker. So if I'm sending out, all of them, I will usually put in pictures. It's just kind of something I do. Happy mail. Happy mail is something I love to do, but different happy mail. And you'll see again, that's just different happy mail I'm doing. And then the last card that I have over here is whenever we have a pre-sale. So like the Celebration Castle. Now, what I want to show you is how great this is to work with. So obviously I am working on this training now. So maybe I want to say that this is done, right? So I'm going to click and drag. Do you see how I'm now able to move this? I haven't unclicked that. So I'm just clicking and I'm dragging. And so what I want to do is put this in my done category. So then I would come over here, drop it in there. Now, with that is everything, all the activity that I've done is going to remain in that card. So if I ever need to go back and I need to look at different things or what did I do, right? So you can see all of my notes to myself as I was working through that project. Um, all of that stays there within that card. And that's just something that I absolutely love and works really, really well for me. Um, let's go here to follow up by month. In here, and I don't want to go too deep into this, let's look at one that doesn't have a lot of info. So every month I have gotten away from Amy. My follow-up now is done by tracking it through here. So what I do is I come in here, and so this is obviously the current month that I'm working in. I usually will put a screenshot in of what someone has ordered. I'm not going to click on this simply because, again, it's got customer information, address, contact info in there, so I don't want to click on that. But you'll see from one of these pictures, I do take a screenshot of their orders. In this case, this is a clubber. So this is one of my Scentsy Club orders. So I can easily identify it that way by naming the card that. And then I have labels that show me, and those are just ones that I've learned to know. Um, but I can easily at a glance know. So maybe when I'm doing my happy mail and sending out those thank yous, right? I can say, oh my gosh, I'm so glad that you have boho in there. I have it in my club too. I think it's absolutely fantastic. And maybe I want to send them something of a sample of, we're coming upon Bring Back My Bar. So maybe if there is something that they've got in a club that is similar to something that's going to be coming out and Bring Back My Bar, that would be when I'd reach out and say, you know what, I know how much you love Luna. Here's a scent that is a little bit close to that. I think you might like this. And it's just another way for me to really just personalize and build relationships with my customers. Another thing that I do, or another board that is very helpful for me, is this is what I call my big fat projects. So these are the things that I'm kind of working on. I've got an on pause, coming up the pipeline, things that I've started, all of those things. Happy Mail, this is where I kind of will track, what am I putting in Happy Mail when I'm sending it out, whether it's to my team, whether it's to customers, all of those things, right? So that's how this board looks. So I know I can go to that. Oops, went back a little too far. Go back to that at any time. My party time board. This is one that is ever changing. And so it's a living and breathing board. So this is a catch-all party. So this actually will go through, and it has a little bit of trading in there. It also has a link in there to Scentsy Success, to the actual training on how to create that catch-all party, or a party link, I'm sorry, to be able to utilize that. This is for Facebook parties. So all I have to do when I am here is all I have to do is right click and copy. And when I do that, I can copy the attachments and all the comments. And then when I go into Facebook, all I have to do is right click and paste, and it will automatically post in there. But what these do is, so this gives me the picture or the graphic that I'm using for the party, and then the wording. So if I wanted to do that, if I want to share this with my team, which is what I am creating that for, really, but for myself as well. So I can very easily just copy, and then I can again paste that right into Facebook and be ready to go. So you'll see I have it set up by days. I believe this is on a 7-day party line. So day 5, or I'm sorry, post 6, day 4, post 1, day 4, post 2, right? So that's kind of how I walk through my Facebook parties. This is going to be for a clickable text party, a shopping link party, in-person event, on the go bag that links to a video, a fragrance flower party. So all the different types of parties, those are all going to be here. And that's where I keep all of the things. Um, let's go to, let's go. Okay, let me show you this real quick. So again, not going to click on here, but I do have all of my frontline. Everybody has a card and in there. So of course, when I have connections, when I'm doing things with different team members, it's just very easy for me to kind of keep track, keep my notes all together. Um, I haven't really decided exactly how I'm going to kind of push this out, but you can see I've got it set up for whatever I really need to do. I do need to come in here and actually add cards for everyone in my group, and so I can do that as well. Um, I also have my fragrance friends. That is actually my customer board. I'm not going to click on that, obviously, for the obvious reasons there. So this is why I love Trello because it is so visual as to what's happening. So, for example, in each one, you can see I've got a link directly to the YouTube video. So if I need to go grab a link to something, I can do that. If I need to link um, I do have my Google Drive connected. So again, that's going to be on the next training, but I can very easily share my Google Drive in here. Now, I do also have automations that come from my Gmail where when I'm in my mail, I can automatically send something to Trello. When I'm in Jotform, there's actually a way in Jotform that you can, when somebody completes a Jotform, you can put in place an automation to where it would automatically put it into one of my boards for me and create the card. So that way I know and I'm ready to go and I know that's an action item. So those are just examples of different ways that you can really beef this up. So, like I said, one of the main reasons for me doing this was simply so I could have a way to be able to get things off of Facebook. So, Cassie, my accountability partner and my best friend, I've got her in here, so she has her workspace. I'm not going to share that with you because that's her content. That's not my place to share that. But so those are the people who have access to my workspace currently. Now in another, let's go to the Three Amigas. This is kind of our collab group. So obviously I've got some other people who are a part of this as well. But when we did a training, so I had everything set up and scheduled, we were able to collaborate back and forth on who was putting this person in, when they did their training, how it was completed. Um, this was just some thank you mail. I added in links to the graphics, so those were there. What I got off of Amazon, so I had to link back to the Amazon. As you know, there's a lot of different things that we like to get, that we like to get on the Amazons, of course. So, in the bag. So again, so those are just ways that we've started to collaborate in the different things that we are working on. And again, this is more for us. So we have the links to how to get back to those if we're looking for those or if we need to recreate those. So Trello at a glance, like I said, don't let it be intimidating to you. Let this work for you. And like I said, I have now made this be my everyday routine. So the first thing that I do is I open up my Trello board when I get started in working each day. Of course, I've got my priority list. I know what I need to work on. I know exactly what I need to do. If I'm in on a training, or if I'm in the Facebook group and somebody asks me for something, hey, I missed one of the trainings that you did. Oh, here, let me pull that up real quick. Yes, I can go to YouTube and grab it, sure. But this is just a little bit easier for me because it's something that I have open all of the time. Um, let's see if there's anything in particular I can show you. Let's see here. I think that is, well, there's one for Bring Back My Bar. So that was back in July of last year. So again, you can see here where that checklist came into play. I really wasn't using it to its full advantage at that point, but you know, that's kind of the gist of it. So this is Trello. This is Trello. So yes, there are boards. That's what it means by boards. But you'll see, and that's going to be the next training that we're going to be doing. You'll see it's on my to-do list. And that is there's another program called Boards. So don't get confused between boards and Trello. They are two completely different things. Completely different things. And we will be getting into that in the next training. So if you are interested in learning that, and Boards is free. I love that piece of it. Boards is free. The Trello version is free. So I was able to really take a lot of what I was doing in my business and I was able to really make it into where I was saving myself money. So I didn't upgrade my Trello until I needed to. So this hopefully will give you a good overview as to maybe giving you some ideas of some boards to get started on. Now, there are lots of different, like I said, resources on how to use boards or how to use Trello in general. Um, when you're on Trello in and of itself, they give you amazing um, different trainings and different ways to do things. But if at a glance, I just want to see what's been happening on Trello in my boards, then of course, right here, that's in real time. So you can see that those are the items. Here's the highlights. Um, I just did that 23 minutes ago. So you can see how I can easily track anything that's being done here. So specifically, oh, so I've got addresses on there. Don't want to show that. Let's just get off of that. I don't want to get too into that because um, right now, simply because I think it's going to probably be a little too overwhelming. So there we have it. This is your intro into Trello, kind of how I use it, what I have set up here. Hopefully, this has given you some inspiration to get started and follow along for more training.